So last weekend, my family and I went walking, and we stumbled on a yard sale that was selling a bunch of different science kits for children. We ended up buying a few for my son, including this. It's a kit that's supposed to teach children about electrical conductivity. It consists of this central unit, a set of headphones, although the headphones have their speakers on the outsides, which is kind of weird, and then these clips with wires. One of the clips is the ground wire, and the others are just sensors. You clip the ground wire to your finger, and you clip the other end to something you want to test. Then all you have to do is touch the object you want to test, and in so doing, you complete the circuit. In other words, a tiny electrical current flows from the little box into the object, into your hand, and back out your other hand to the ground wire. And when that happens, congratulations, you found something that's conductive, and you're rewarded with a little sound. It's a cute idea, and they actually give you 6 clips so you can test out different objects simultaneously. And once you've found a bunch of different objects that are conductive, you can make some music because each sensor produces a different note. There's even a little built-in sampler, although your mileage may vary if you're trying to get something really musical out of it. Here, I'm going to sing a note into it. So anyway, as we were playing with this, I got to thinking, this little setup would actually be great for a whole bunch of different experiments. The first thing that comes to mind is this. It's a bicycle wheel I found on the street last summer. As you can see, I've mounted it on this wooden stand for no other reason than it just seemed kind of cool to have a big wheel that people could spin if they felt like it. Anyway, I thought it'd be cool to combine these two things, the bicycle wheel and this musical science kit from the yard sale. My goal is to make sort of like a game show wheel with a little flapper that plays musical notes when it hits different points in the wheel. I'm going to do this in the most quick and dirty way possible. This is really just to see if this will work. First, I'm going to try to cram the little box in between the spokes and just get it wedged in there so it stays put. Next, I'm going to put that headphone speaker thingy in so that we can actually hear the results of our project. I'm also going to put a small audio recorder in so that we can actually record. Plug the speakers in. Here's the way things look right now. Next, I'm going to attach the ground wire. Instead of attaching it directly, I'm going to use a really long headphone extension cable so that I can run wire out of the wheel and then onto a metal stand that I'm planning to use for the flapper thing. Speaking of which, this is what I've come up with for the flapper. It's a popsicle stick covered in tinfoil. Tinfoil is, of course, conductive. I'm going to clip the popsicle stick into this clamp so that it stays in place, and I'm going to position the stand close enough to the wheel so that the sensor flags will hit the flapper. And when the sensor flags hit the flapper and make contact with the ground, we should hear a note. Okay, time to attach the first sensor. First, I'm going to plug the wire into one of the sensor jacks. I don't remember which notes correspond to which holes, so yeah, this is going to sound pretty random. Next, I'm going to take a piece of tinfoil and I'm going to clip it and the clip itself to the spoke. The idea is that when the wheel turns, the tinfoil should hit the popsicle stick and play the note. Okay, moment of truth. Nice, it works. Let's add another note. Of course, in order to add another note, we have to add another sensor. Okay, let's see how that sounds. Okay, time for another note. Add another note. I can't believe how well this is working. The hardest thing for me is to keep the wheel spinning at an even speed. Okay, let's add another note. Okay, we have one final sensor to add. So that's really cool, but let's try changing the sequence a bit. Of course, if we want the notes to play at different times, we have to move the sensors. Or do we? We do have another option. Since each jack corresponds to a different note, we can just change which cable is plugged into which jack and get a completely different sequence. Of course, with the same rhythm. Okay, I like this a bit better. Let's add some drums. And just like that, we've made music with a bicycle wheel. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Not only am I really enjoying watching it, but the periodic nature of a spinning wheel makes it perfectly suited for loop-based music. While we don't tend to see sequencing wheels much in modern-day musical devices, this idea is far from new. One of the first ever drum machines, the Wurlitzer Sideman, was released in 1959. It didn't have a bicycle wheel, but it worked almost exactly the same way. What's on screen right now is a really great YouTube video showing one of those drum machines in action. Definitely worth checking out. If you enjoyed this project, be sure to subscribe. I've got a lot more experiments on the way. See you soon.